I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Okay. Date is January 9th, 2023. It's 12:05 p.m. Regular meeting of the Windsor Heights City Council. Roll call.
Susan Skiris,
Here.
Joseph Jones,
Here.
Lauren Campbell,
Here.
and Teresa Harms.
Here.
Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Susan Skiris,
Yes.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
Lauren Campbell,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes.
Item 3A, consideration of resolution 2023-1, a resolution eliminating the public safety director position.
moved.
Yes, please, motion.
And I'll second.
I suppose I'll give a bit of a background on this, and maybe Chief McCluskey can supplement this conversation as well. So since the announcement that Chief McCluskey made that he was joining WAUKE, we had a number of conversations actually about the public safety director position, whether or not it should be something we should keep or talk about eliminating. There are obvious reasons to, I think, the reasons for having it are probably better discussed by someone who might have been here when it was actually adopted. But budgetary, I guess, is probably one reason. But I think in practice, there are issues created by the position, and those issues may dealing with coverage at certain times or delegation of responsibilities. I don't know if those logistical issues have ever been resolved, but I think potentially also a greater reason that we discussed is replacing Chief McCluskey, and that it is very difficult to, it'd be difficult to find someone who would handle those responsibilities because, again, police officers are police officers, firefighters are firefighters, and trying to find a candidate who would do both of those things, I think we would lose a lot of quality candidates in the process. And so this conversation I had with Chief McCluskey, also discussed it with the Personnel and Finance Committee. I don't know if there's anything, Chief, if you wanted to supplement that, what I just had to say, or if there are other reasons that should be considered as to why I am making this recommendation. I think that the Personnel and Finance Committee is making this recommendation.
I don't think I have anything to add. Thanks.
Okay. Well, that is the, I guess, intro. And so discussion on council.
I just add that as somebody who was here when we transitioned to this position on staff, it was driven by budgetary. Our city council, or excuse me, our city administrator at the time had come from a community that had this position established as such. I will tell you in my duration and having previously sat for I think 6 years on the public safety committee, that this is something that I've seen the challenges as they've risen and tried to come through that. Obviously trying to find somebody to staff that position is a challenge because it's largely not how it is across most communities, not only in our state, but across the nation. And so although I think it was a good attempt on our end, and certainly that is why we found Chad because of that position and the skill set that he had in today's workforce environment, and the challenges that exist right now in finding good quality candidates, at least even within each of those areas individually. It's going to present even more challenges than I think maybe we are in a position to take on at this very juncture. So for that reason, I support moving into the Chad's recommendation. And I think that those are all part of the reasons why he's making the recommendation that he has. And I think we've got certainly two very skilled and quality staff to certainly move into those interim positions if that's the direction we choose to go.
Further discussion or questions? Anyone?
This is probably a question for Chad. So looking at the pay ranges for those positions when we do post them, obviously if dividing the position back into the respective chief roles, it will make it more attractive to candidates. Is the salary also, in a place that we're going to be able to get quality candidates?
So the mayor and I had a discussion on the last compensation study done by Pontifex. You'll remember that Peter said that he did not up the salary range for my position because it was a nebulous number and he couldn't. There was some discussion about adding 10% or 15%, and Peter's position from Pontifex was, I can't do that because I don't know how to legitimately quantify and tie that back in. And so that number that was put out for the public safety director's position is the police chief, is a police chief's range only in comparables. So we would need to get comparables or do some research for the fire chief's salary to figure out what that needs to be. But I've had a couple of calls about this position from a couple of different people across the state already, and I think that I think you're in a good position to get some interest in it with that range.
Thank you.
Other questions, discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Susan Skiris,
Yes.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
Lauren Campbell,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes.
3B, consideration of resolution number 2023-2, a resolution adopting job descriptions for the police chief and the fire chief. Motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Further discussion on these. These were presented to myself. I think, Chief McCluskey, did you write these, and I think they may have went through with your captains to proof them, and were also sent out to, I believe, Rochelle to review as well. I think they've been seen by nearly most people on your command side, as well as the city administrator. Is that right?
Yeah, when I drafted them, I sent both of them to the respective captains for their input, and then also to Rochelle for her input before I forwarded them out to you. So they take a lot of the wording from the public safety director position and just more align that with each role, and they fit probably. I also vetted them against some of the neighboring communities. They fit pretty tight with those too. So.
Discussion on council about those. Okay, hearing none, roll call.
Susan Skiris,
Yes.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
Lauren Campbell,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes.
3C, consideration of resolution 2023-3, a resolution approving the appointments of Captain Derek Meyer to the interim police chief position and Captain Blake Boyle to the interim fire chief position. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
And finally, as part of the discussions that we had, we asked Captains Meyer and Boyle to assume these responsibilities in the interim until full-time chiefs are hired, which again, they are both gracious enough to accept those additional responsibilities. So is there any further discussion or questions about that?
We need a motion to approve that, Mike.
I'm sorry, yeah, I
Yes,
thought,
Joseph and.
Okay,
Chief
okay,
Case.
so we did make, okay, I thought that was, never mind. All right, thank you. It's
Okay.
Monday.
yes, it is Monday. All right, well, hearing no further questions, roll call.
Susan Skiris,
Yes.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
Lauren Campbell,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes,
And lastly, 3D, consideration of posting the police chief and fire chief positions. I think that's maybe more of a discussion than a consideration, but
I wanted to leave it open to you in case you wanted to make a formal motion.
okay. Well, let's, Aaron, I assume we can just have discussion on the matter. Probably not a problem.
Go ahead and proceed. Yep.
Okay, all right. The attached with the packet, it looks like that this is just the chief of police, a nice chief of police posting. Need to come up with something on the fire side, obviously. Process by posting, your thoughts, Chad, where if we were just to post this, where would it go?
So my thought was that if, and as you said, we would develop something similar for the fire chief side, but just to get it out and get the process started and get it moving on the police side, the Iowa Police Chiefs Association, the FOP, Iowa Peace Officers Association, the League of Cities, ICMA. I can send it out through our National Academy Associates list, just kind of industry forums and listservs. And then there's similar on the fire chief side. There's a statewide Fire Chiefs Association group, a statewide Pro Fire Chiefs Association group, statewide firefighter groups and international firefighters groups. So that would be where I would start. And like I said, I think you'll get some interest on them just by posting. And if you wanted to see how that worked for you before you decided to look at whether you needed a consultant or not, maybe you get the right person and you can avoid the consultant. I would probably recommend that you post them and leave them open for 30 days. And you'll notice on that police chief draft that I sent you, at the bottom of it, I didn't put a close date. Rather, I put something to the effect of first candidate review will be a certain date or something. And that way it doesn't have that hard close date with it. So if somebody sees it the day after, they still could apply. And that gives you some flexibility there as well. But like I said, the thought process I had was just to get it posted and get the process started and see what kind of interest you get right off the bat.
Okay, council, thoughts on that?
I think that sounds pretty reasonable. And I think that's a route that we should take before we hire anybody, especially since I haven't heard anything back from our city administrator search process. So I would rather do it this way and hope to find somebody. I don't want to say just from within the state of Iowa, but versus taking it and spending money if we really don't have to. Hopefully we can find the right person, the right people to take Chad's spot.
Okay, well, it seems to me that the draft on the police side is pretty well put together. I'm assuming there probably needs to be some final proofing, but that can be posted. And then what's the date on there? The 24th of 2023, first review.
So that date was just something I threw in there so you could see a date. So it's totally up to you. That's why
Okay.
I highlighted it.
Okay. And then probably something that, do the same same thing on the fire side, but we put that together and then get it posted on the appropriate forums, and then leave that open for the same general time frame and see where we're at. That's just my thoughts, which I think Susan shares as well. Based upon that chief's suggestion, my thoughts, Susan thoughts, anyone opposed to that?
Nope.
Okay. Can we just can that just pass as staff direction then? Okay. Staff, Rochelle, or anybody, any questions about that direction?
No.
We'll take care of it.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Well, if nothing else,
Can I have 2 minutes before you hang up?
I suppose you can have the 2 minutes. Yes, please, go ahead, Chuck.
So you may remember when we were talking about the new police fleet vehicles that were ordered, when they came in, I had talked about DMAC being interested in maybe purchasing those. And somebody on the dais, I can't remember who it was, made a comment about donations. So I just kind of want to get a feel for where council is. The new cars are supposed to be at the dealership. The 14th is what I think we were told last, and they were hoping to have them up here sometime by the end of the month. But DMAC's still interested in cars, as is the Iowa Law Enforcement Academy now. But DMAC is wanting to do a some sort of news release presentation, shout out, thank you to Windsor Heights for helping them out. And my question to you is, do you as council have a preference on selling the vehicles versus donating the vehicles? If we sell them, we may at the top end get $5,000 a piece out of them. So $10,000 total would be the absolute most I would expect. I think trade-in, they were bidding them like 25 or 3,500. So it was nothing on trade-ins. But if council doesn't have a huge problem with donating, then maybe we donate them to DMAC. They're over 100,000 miles and pretty worn, so they'll use it for their criminal justice program, but it would be good press for the city, and DMAC is already wanting to do something and thankful for the opportunity to even look at buying them. So just kind of trying to get a headspace as to where council is on that option.
That was not, I guess, that doesn't actually, I don't think need any sort of motion, but I am wary about having council answer that, Aaron, if you tell me otherwise. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not shown as an agenda topic for this evening, so it'd probably be best to hold off on that until the next meeting.
Well, I don't know if we even need, but how about this, Chad? If you will put that in an email to me, I think I can, I don't even know if we need action on it. Chad, just put that in an email to me and I will follow up, please. How about that?
Yep, and sorry, I should have said that to begin with. I wasn't looking for action. I was just kind of feeling out the group to see what to tell DMAC as far as buy, donate, whatever. And then we would of course have to bring something to council to approve, I'm sure, the transfer of that property either way. So it was more to get a feel for which direction to go than it was to get an approval one way or the other. I should have made that more clear.
Email me and we will figure it out before next meeting.
Easy enough.
Thank you. If nothing else, for the good of the order, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Roll call.
Susan Skiris,
yes.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
Lauren Campbell,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes,
Thank you, everybody.
thank you.
Thank you.